Modification to the pilot program for streamlining awards for innovative technology projects. A. Extension, subsection F, of Section 873 of the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2016. Public Law 114-92, 10 U.S.C. 2306. A note is amended by striking October 1, 2022 and inserting October 1, 2024. B. Data collection. The Secretary of Defense shall develop and implement a plan to collect and analyze data on the use of authority under such Section 873 for the purposes of 1. Developing and sharing best practices, and 2. Providing information to the Secretary of Defense and Congress on the use of authority under such Section 873 and related policy issues. C. Recommendation on extension. Not later than April 1, 2023, the Secretary of Defense shall submit to the Congressional Defense Committees a recommendation regarding a further extension of the pilot program for streamlining awards for innovative technology projects established under such Section 873, and if applicable, the duration of any such extension. Sec. 863. Protests and appeals relating to eligibility of business concerns. Section 5(I) of the Small Business Act, 15 U.S.C. 634(I), is amended, 1. by redesignating paragraph 4 as paragraph 5, and 2. by inserting after paragraph 3 the following new paragraph. 4. Determinations regarding status of concerns, A. in general. Not later than 2 days after the date on which a final determination that a business concern does not meet the requirements of the status such concern claims to hold is made, such concern or the administrator, as applicable, shall update the status of such concern in the System for Award Management, or any successor system. B. Administrator updates, if such concern fails to update the status of such concern as described in subparagraph A, not later than 2 days after such failure the administrator shall make such update. C. Notification. A concern required to make an update described under subparagraph A shall notify a contracting officer for each contract with respect to which such concern has an offer or bid pending of the determination made under subparagraph A, if the concern finds, in good faith, that such determination affects the eligibility of the concern to perform such a contract. Sec. 864. Authority for the Office of Hearings and Appeals to decide appeals relating to qualified HUBZone small business concerns. Not later than 1 year after the date of the enactment of this Act, the Administrator of the Small Business Administration shall issue a rule authorizing the Office of Hearings and Appeals of the Administration to decide all appeals from formal protest determinations in connection with the status of a concern as a qualified HUB-zone small business concern, as such term is defined in Section 31(b) of the Small Business Act, 15 U.S.C. 657A, B. Sec. 865. Report on unfunded priorities of the Small Business Innovation Research and Small Business Technology Transfer Program. A. In general. Not later than 10 days after the date on which the budget of the President for fiscal years 2022 through 2032 is submitted to Congress pursuant to Section 1105 of Title 31, United States Code, each Secretary of a military department and the Undersecretary of Defense for Research and Engineering shall submit to the Secretary of Defense, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the Congressional Defense Committees a report on unfunded priorities of the Department of Defense related to high-priority small business innovation research and small business technology transfer projects. B. Elements. 1. In general. Each report under subsection A shall include identification of not more than 5 unfunded priority projects and the following information for each such unfunded priority project. A summary description of the unfunded priority project, including the objectives to be achieved if such project were to be funded, either in whole or in part. B. The additional amount of funds recommended to achieve the objectives identified under subparagraph A. C. Account information with respect to such unfunded priority project, including, as applicable, the following: I. Line item number, in the case of applicable procurement accounts. 2. Program element number, in the case of applicable research, development, test, and evaluation accounts. Three. Sub-activity group, in the case of applicable operation and maintenance accounts. 2. Priority. Each Secretary of a military department and the Undersecretary of Defense for Research and Engineering shall ensure that the unfunded priorities covered by a report submitted under subsection A are listed in the order of urgency of priority. C. Definitions in this section. 1. Unfunded priority. The term unfunded priority, with respect to a fiscal year, means a specific project related to a project successfully funded under Phase 2 of the Small Business Innovation Research or Small Business Technology Transfer Program that A. is not funded in the budget of the President for that fiscal year, as submitted to Congress pursuant to Section 1105 of Title 31, United States Code. B. has the potential to I. advance the national security capabilities of the United States. 2. Provide new technologies or processes, or new applications of existing technologies or processes, that will enable new alternatives to existing programs. And 3. Provide future cost savings. and C would have been recommended for funding through the budget referred to in subparagraph A, if I. Additional resources had been available to fund the program, activity, or mission requirement to which the specific project relates, or 2. The program, activity, or mission requirement for such specific project had emerged before the budget was formulated. 2. Phase 2. Small Business Innovation Research, Small Business Technology Transfer. The terms Phase 2, Small Business Innovation Research, and Small Business Technology Transfer have the meanings given such terms, respectively, in Section 9(e) of the Small Business Act, 15 U.S.C. 638(e). Sec. 866. Report on Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification Effects on Small Business. Not later than 180 days after the date of the enactment of this Act, the Secretary of Defense shall submit to the Congressional Defense Committees, the Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship of the Senate, and the Committee on Small Business of the House of Representatives a report on the effects of the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification Framework of the Department of Defense on small business concerns, as defined under Section 3 of the Small Business Act, 15 U.S.C. (632), including 1. The estimated costs of complying with each level of the framework based on verified representative samples of actual costs of compliance small business concerns and an explanation of how these costs will be recoverable by such small business concerns. 2. The estimated change in the number of small business concerns that are part of the defense industrial base resulting from the implementation and use of the framework. 3. Explanations of how the Department of Defense will a. mitigate negative effects to such small business concerns resulting from the implementation and use of the framework, b. ensure small business concerns are trained on the requirements for passing a third-party assessment, self-assessment, or government assessment, as applicable, for compliance with the relevant level of the framework. And c. work with small business concerns and non-traditional defense contractors, as defined under Section 2302 of Title 10, United States Code.